Hello and welcome to this introduction to the course record, the course catalog record in Campus Solutions. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Okay, so the course record, this is the equivalent of, this is the module record in Campus Solutions. So a module is called a course. Okay, so I'm going to show you where that lives. Main menu, go down. You wouldn't see as many menu options when you go into the system, but I get to see everything. So we've got curriculum management, course catalog, course catalog. Okay, find an existing value. So you click on add a new value if you want to create a new course record, find an existing value. Okay, so as we know, the new course code, module code is based on a subject and a catalog number. So I'm going to put in my subject was busy, which is business school, and then I'm going to put my catalog number, so level 1001. Okay, computers in business. So we've got 5 tabs along here. GL interface we don't use, but all the other 4 are relevant. And I'm going to start with catalog data. So first of all, we can see we've got an effective date. 1st of the 8th, 2016. So the effective date is this is when this data set is live from, and we can add in multiple rows, and every time if we want to update the information, so I can click on here, I can add a new row, which is put today's date in, then I can update the information, and then this new version of the course will be live or effective from the 18th of the 11th. If I go down the bottom, if it will let me, you can see an option here called include history. Now you can see I've got 23 rows here. Yeah. Now these have been created through conversion from Saturn records, and there's basically one created for every year record for that course, that module in Saturn. So it basically means every year, if you want to update your course, you add in a new row, put an effective date, normally the 1st of the 8th, which is the beginning of the academic year, that those changes will go live from, and then those changes will come into place from that date. Okay, we've also got a status field active. So we've only in Saturn, you can have a wider range of statuses, which is, I think it's live, dormant, suspended, withdrawn, another one about rolling forward, which I can't quite remember. Here we just have active and inactive. Okay, so if the module is suspended or dormant in old terminology, you would make it inactive. If it's live, if it's being delivered in that year, we keep it as active. Okay, then let's move to the long course title. So this is where you put your full course title. It is limited to 100 characters though, which in our current data set is fine for about, I think about 10 records. Then we also have a description field. This is 30 characters limited, so much shorter. But this is the kind of the description you'll see in a number of parts of the system. The students themselves will only ever really see the long course title, but the description field will be used and seen in various parts of the system. But it is only 30 characters long, so you have to think about when you're creating a new course, how can I represent this course title in those 30 characters? Okay, then we go down to the long description, which is like the summary of content in Saturn. So that's where this data goes in, and you've got, rich text format, and you can apply to that. Okay, then we go down to course units. So units basically mean credits. So here this is a 10 credit course, so I've put 10 in here. Generally you would populate the minimum, and then it automatically populates these other rows, but it's the minimum one that we're going to be, that's really used. These are here, but they're not going to be really used in how we're using Campus Solutions. Okay, course grading. So the grading basis, we've got graded here, and this just basically means a student's going to get a mark out of 1 to 100. There are other options available, most of which we're not going to use, but the one they may use is pass, not pass. So it's a pass-fail grading basis if the student can only pass or fail the module. Okay, don't worry about graded components. Okay, these fields we're not using. Okay, additional course information. Not interested in these two or this one, but these two are being used by Nottingham. So the requirement designation, this is basically referring to requisites. So requisites in campus are set up in a different record called an enrolment requirement. They're defined and then you attach them. You click on your icon here, there aren't any available, and you find the right requirement and attach it. And that would attach the requisites that are defined in the enrolment requirement to that course. And then when a student tries to go or goes to enroll on that course, it will check those requisites against the student record. Equivalent course group. So if we want to set up equivalences, so this module A is equivalent to module B. This may be particularly the case when we're looking at, I'm doing this module in the UK, I could have done this module in China. It links those two common modules together. So if a student has an equivalent course that say they've done in China, China campus, when they come back here and the records, the system's checking that the student has met their requirements for a particular stage of a plan, it will use those equivalencies and pick that equivalency up and to make sure the students met their requirements. Okay, course attributes. So there are a number of attributes that we can attach to a record. These can be used in these enrollment requirements, requisites, and they can also provide information to students. So here we've got one called availability. And if we look here, these are the options available. So we can say here whether it's available to UG students, if it's a postgraduate course, if it's available to exchange students, suitable for first years, LBR module, or only available to UG. So these reflect some of the requirements, the attributes that we configure in Saturn currently. We've also got the Saturn code. So we've linked in the sort of the historic or the original Saturn code there for information. Session availability. So where we've got a course that runs every year or every other year, every odd year or every even year, we can define that here as well. And let's see what else we've got. Okay, so we've got other ones. This one's a China specific one. We've got Learning Beyond registration. MPU, this is compulsory study in Malaysia to identify those courses. Nottingham Advantage Award, so identify Nottingham Advantage Award courses. Ones to exclude from transcripts, and we looked at session availability, and then we've got another one suitable for non-school students. So these are all things that you can attach. They can be used in enrolment requirements, and they provide information to the students. Course topics we're not using. Okay, so that's the course data tab. Let's go to offerings. So the concept of offerings is you can have more than one offering of the same course. Each offering keeps the same course the catalog data, so the titles, the units, the credits, everything like that. But you can create different offerings where if the course runs in autumn semester and in the spring semester, you would create a separate offering for each one of those semesters. Okay, and also going forwards, if we've got a course which is offered in the UK and in China and in Malaysia, we can create a separate offering for each campus. Okay, so let's run through the key fields. So we've got offering number here. So if we've got multiple offerings, that number will change. Here, we're going to institution, that's always UON. Academic group is the faculty of the administrative owner of the course. Then we've got subject. So we talked about subject or module codes in a previous presentation. So here, the subject area, these are based on the academic organisations. So we've got BUSY, which represents Business School, Chem, which represents School of Chemistry, etc. Now, a course must have a subject and it must have a catalogue number, and it's the combination of those two that gives us our new course code. Catalogue number, 4 digits. The first digit is the level, and then the other 3 we just add in sequence as we add more and more courses to that subject at that level. So BUSY 1001, that is the course code for this course record. Okay, let's go down. So we've got campus. So here it's the UK. This administrative owner, academic organisation, UDD-BIS means UK Department Business School. Then we've got career, undergraduate, postgraduate, taught, postgraduate research. Here it's undergraduate. And then we've got course typically offered. So this could be autumn UK. We've got spring UK. We've got summer UK. Okay, and we've got some ones that are specific to Sealy. So these are, basically the semester by campus. Okay, over here we've got course approved, or otherwise we've got pending and denied. So pending you may use until the course is up and running, so it's in that sort of approval stage, but generally courses that are active should be approved. Allow course to be scheduled. This needs to be ticked so we can create classes for that course and then students enroll on the classes. Catalogue print means it's included in the sort of the course catalogue record which students or staff can browse. And then we've got various other ones here. The key one here is split ownership. Tick on that because down the bottom where it's ticked, we put in the ownership details where that ownership can be split. So here we've got business school 100% owner. We could have had business school 50%, economics 50%. That's where that ownership is defined. And every record must have this populated, even if it is 100%. For our reporting purposes, we need to be able to pick all the ownership information out from here. This one, that shows us our administrative owner only. Okay, so that's the offering. Let's go into components. So components are basically the teaching activities. So here we've got computing. They've also got lecture, tutorial, and a workshop. Okay, so we've got 4 teaching activities. These all have to be put in. They should all have the auto create box ticked. This means that they will be automatically scheduled when we create a class rather than manually having to create them. And you will see here the first one of them is the graded component. Basically, when we attach a mark, an overall course mark to a student, it has to be attached to a class essentially. That's all kind of happening underneath the system. You'll just see the course mark, but basically we have to have one component, lecture in this example, to which we attach the mark. We've got default section size. So if you want to define the numbers of students, the maximum numbers of students that are going to attend or can attend that course, we can put that here. That goes into the class record, but that class record can be amended. Okay, final exam doesn't do anything, but we have to populate it, so that's always populated with no. And then we go down here, we've got instruction mode, in person. Again, this has to be populated. It's not really doing anything other than for information, but we've got another option here, distance learning or on placement. Okay, attendance type. Okay, so we've got a number of options here. Generally, this is going to be class meeting. We have got other ones such as field trip, study group, but generally we're always going to use class meeting. Okay, so these tick boxes aren't really doing much. They're there for other purposes that we're not using. GL interface, that's a tab that we're not using. It's to do with financials. And then finally, we've got the QAA course specification. So this is an additional tab, a customized tab that we've added to the course record to enable us to record more of the module specification data that we need to publish to students. Okay, so here we can record the level. We've also got the level in as the first digit in the catalogue number, but we can record it in its own here, and that level value will be used in a number of processes. We can put in consulted schools, so if we want to record any school that's been consulted in the creation of this course, we can select that here. Oh, I can't change that. If you try to edit a current record, so you're correcting a current record, you have to click on correct history. Now, very few people will be allowed to do this for auditing purposes, probably just central curriculum. So generally, if you've got to make an update to a course record, you would go to course catalog data and add in another row. So I want to make an update. I'm going to click on this plus sign, put my effective date in, which will normally be the start date of the next academic year, and then I'll make my updates. Corrections can only be done centrally because there's no real way to track those changes, and we don't want people going in and making changes to say the 16-17 record now in November once that record is essentially live and up and running. Okay, so we've got our consulted schools. Then we can put in our aims. So these are the educational aims um, that are in the module spec. So these would go into here. Um, this is all these fields that are, kind of look like this. They have rich text formatting, so you can format the information you're putting in. Okay, accreditation notes. So this is a new field that's not in Saturn. So this is to record if you've got accreditation for a course, any relevant information about that accreditation. Then we've got target students, another field that exists in Saturn. So this is where you can put information about who this module's being delivered for, whether it's particular students, undergraduate students in a particular school, or exchange students, or whoever it is. That information will go in there. Summary of content. Well, this field isn't really going to be used now. It's been included in here, but it will probably be removed because that information is now being captured, as we know, in this long description field. So that's where the summary of content should now go. And then this field, I think, will just be removed. Okay, then we've got a new field, marketing text. So marketing said to us, we want people to be able to record text about a module course that we can include in the prospectus. So that's what this field's been added to do. Okay, then we've got course web links. So if you want to put links to particular resources, you can do that here. We've got free options, Cal, Moodle or other. Put your description in, and then you put your URL in there. You can add in as many links as you like. Okay, learning outcomes. So this is one field as it is in Saturn. So you can detail all your learning outcomes in here for that course. And again, you've got rich text formatting to do that with. Okay, then we go down to activity information. So this is to put more information about timetabling for that course. Okay, you can choose from all the components, but when you're doing it live, it will only let you choose the ones that you specified. Where are we? In that component tab. You can't add in additional components that aren't already specified there. And you put your description in, number of weeks that course is going to be, that activity is going to be delivered over, the duration of the activity in hours and minutes, and the number of weeks it will run for. And then if we put the duration in, put the number of weeks in, it should, let's put that in. Oh, that's disappointing. It should calculate total hours. It will do in when it goes live. This is a sort of a test environment, and obviously this functionality is not working very well. Okay, activity information general, so we can put additional information here about the activities for the students for publication. Then we've got assessment details. Now these fields, like the summary of content, these are probably going to be removed because now, as you know, we've got activity registry records where we define the assessments for a course. They won't be done in here. So that's going to disappear. And then we've got convener details. So you've got contributor and convener. Let's choose the convener. And what you do here is we've got each member of staff, relevant member of staff has got a record created in Campus Solutions, and you search for that member of staff. You can search by their MPL ID, which may be meaningful, but you can search by their name, their full name, their last name, first name, and other bits of information. Okay, so that is how you populate the course catalog record. And I'm going to do an additional video just to go over. This is the field in Saturn. This is the field now in Campus, but this hopefully will give you a good amount of information in understanding the course catalog. Now, just at the end, just when you thought it was all over, I'm just going to show you the other records that we use that are normally in the module record in Saturn, but are held in different records in Campus Solutions. So curriculum management. Let's go down, enrollment requirements. So enrollment requirements, this is where we define requisites in the system and we attach them to the course. Back to course catalog, we've got HESA module details. So this is where we put in the HESA subject and the cost center. And then let's go down the bottom here. Activity management, activity registry. This is where we define the assessments. This is the assessment record for the course, which attaches to the course record. So that just gives you an idea where that other information, which would normally sit into one module record in Saturn, is now structured in the system. And okay, that's it, 20 minutes.